Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Patriot Nation TV. I'm your host, Tim Davis, your New Age Patriot with the 1776 attitude. It is Sunday, May 23rd, 2021. And tonight I will be discussing corporate media, the fourth branch of government. So let me start off by saying this. The media is the enemy of the people. The media is the only constitutional protected business, yet they are the most corrupt and monopolized. They serve the state, not the people. And with Barack Obama's NDAA Act of 2012, Amendment 114, go research it, the NDAA Act, Amendment 114, government gives the media the power to use propaganda to support government's tyranny. It's a fact. Go look it up. So, media lies. Media lies. I will give a couple of quick examples of that later on into the video. But let me start off by quoting two gentlemen from 50 and 55 years ago. One is the poet and lead singer of The Doors, Jim Morrison. He quoted this: "Whoever controls the media controls the mind." And this brings me to the great Malcolm X. What was Malcolm X's take on the media? Now, this is over 55 years ago. Malcolm X said this: "The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and make the guilty innocent. And that's power, because they control the minds of the masses." And during that speech that Malcolm X gave about the media and how the media lies, he also said this, and I'm quoting him: "This is the media, an irresponsible media. It will make the criminal look like the victim and the victim look like he's the criminal. If you aren't careful, the media will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing." Malcolm X. To me, this is sort of a propaganda tactic that I would call psychological warfare. There's a war of your minds. There's a spiritual war. It's the war of your minds. So this brings me to what I want to discuss. The middle doesn't always equal true. We live in an age in which our media frequently frames issues up as a choice between two extremes: right versus left, conservative versus liberal, capitalism versus socialism, or democratic socialism, and so on and so on. In such an age, it's tempting for those who consider themselves educated to consistently take the via media the middle way, and to assume that the truth always amounts to a balanced compromise between the two sides of a debate. In such an age, it becomes cool to be a centrist. Sometimes indeed, the truth does sometimes lie somewhere in between the two positions, but not always. In fact, the assumptions of that truth always lies somewhere in the middle is actually a logical fallacy called the middle ground fallacy. The middle ground fallacy, also known as the argument of moderation or the golden mean fallacy, takes the following propositional form. Position A and B are two extreme positions: left, right, capitalism, socialism, liberty, slavery. C, which acts as the media or government, is a position that rests in the middle between A and B. Therefore, C is the correct position. Here is a couple examples of the fallacy applied to controversial issues today. For example, Side A claims that climate change is not primarily caused by man. Side B says that climate change is primarily caused by man. Person C, therefore, concludes that the truth must be that climate change is primarily man-made in certain areas of the earth, but not others. Like in America, but not in China. Here's another example. Side A claims that the economic system of capitalism is the best way to promote human flourishing. Side B says that socialism best promotes human flourishing. Person C, therefore, concludes that the best economic system must be one that maintains some aspects of the free market, but with more government controls than we have today. Regulations, fascism 101, private-public partnerships, corporatism, so on and so on. In both cases, the truth of person C's position does not logically follow from the fact that it's an attempted compromise between A and B. Rather, it's a separate position that must be evaluated on its own merits. To repeat, sometimes we're called to strike a balance between two seemingly extreme positions in order to arrive at a pragmatic compromise. But sometimes what's characterized as an extreme position may very well be just the truth. So let me give you examples. It's not just the mainstream media, it's also social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. So I'll just use Facebook. Facebook is the perfect example of socialism. You get it for free. You have no say in how it works. The guy who runs it is rich. You have no privacy. And if you say one thing they don't like, they shut you up. Hence, me, prime example of it. I'm still in 30-day Facebook jail. I think I got 7 days left. Hopefully I'm free to give my Memorial Day video and speech, both YouTube and Facebook combined. I'm going to do it live. So we'll see what happens. But Facebook is a perfect example of it. And if you really go back and look into it, whether it's fictional books or reality, sometimes fiction is reality. In George Orwell's 1984, it is called The Ministry of Truth. I've done a video on George Orwell. Maybe I'll post it up in my top left-hand corner at the end of this video. Check it out. Orwell and Huxley's Brave New World. In the USSR, it was called the Department of Agitation and Propaganda. In the Nazi era, it was called the Reichsministry, or Public Enlightenment and Propaganda. Today, we call them fact checkers. That's what we call them today, fact checkers. So like an example of this media propaganda, which lies and is brainwashing the masses. Just look over the past year. We came up with, they came up with terms backed by the government. Terms such as the new normal, in this together, stay home, save lives, flatten the curve, social distancing, essential workers, stay safe. Terms recently used by media to program the minds of individuals into submitting to unjust laws and mandates, and the largest reason for the divide we are currently seeing amongst the masses today. It's happening in businesses now. If you're vaccinated, you're not. You don't have to wear a mask. If you are not vaccinated, wear a mask. You can't enter businesses, and so on and so on. That's fascism 101. That's what it is. What happened was, they didn't change your behavior. They changed your minds. Media and government, they changed your minds. Overnight, you began distrusting your fellow man and began trusting your government to keep you safe, to keep you informed, to trade your liberties for a false sense of security. You, allowed your loved ones to die alone in a hospital under the mandate of the greater good. You allowed businesses to shut down and people to give up their paychecks as they huddled in their own homes under the mandate of the greater good. There is no greater good than freedom. There is no greater good than liberty. As the great Patriot said, give me liberty or give me death. But this is how they manipulated and brainwashed you. But they used fear to separate you, to isolate you. And you believed it. And you allowed it. The media is just no good. Here's another thing the media would never tell you. They're always trying to say how Republicans or the right wing or conservatives are racist, homophobic, and so on. All the other buffoonery that they try to say the right-leaning side of the aisle. But here's a fact. The media will never tell you that the Republican Party was founded by 150 black men and women, African Americans, and only 20 whites. When the Republican Party was founded, that's who it was founded by. 150 blacks and only 20 whites. So this brings me to the examples that I mentioned earlier. How the media lies. The media lies. Just recently, not even a year, over the last year, you have Andrew Cuomo, anchor of CNN, or Fredo. That's what he is Fredo. So Fredo, a.k.a. Andrew Cuomo, he protects his brother from scandals. And he advises him how to answer and how to avoid it. So Fredo protects his brother from scandals such as the nursing home deaths, the sexual harassment allegations, and they're all swept under the rug. And we don't even hear about it anymore. Just life goes on as normal. Then you got Joe Biden. The media covers his dementia and his lack of leadership. The media also covers his son Hunter Biden's laptop, his pedophilia, his crack addiction, and so on and so on. As for me, one man, one opinion. I'm still stuck in 2020 when it comes to the media. Such as Epstein's suicide. Epstein didn't kill himself. But yet, just I think 2 days ago, the prison guards just cut a deal with prosecution, so they won't be prosecuted for neglect and allegedly falling asleep during the suicide. And meanwhile, everything's vanished, all the cameras and everything else. They made a deal with them, struck a deal with them, so they won't be held accountable. So I'm still stuck on Epstein's suicide. What's going on with that? I still want to know about it. Also, the last week, we're finding out states as Georgia and Michigan with the 2020 election fraud. Well, we do know that a lot of attorney generals and governors took it upon amongst themselves to violate the federal constitution and rewrote voting laws. It's all coming to light now. They're auditing it. They're auditing the fraud. It's not looking good, but the media is silent on it. Then we got Hillary Clinton's emails. We also got FBI and FISA fraud with the Russia collusion. This was all public. This is all factual fraud, and the media covers it up. So with the 2020 things is Epstein's suicide. They're hiding it still. The election fraud, hiding it still. Hillary's emails, hiding it still. FBI, FISA fraud, hiding it still. And now they're talking about these masks things. I'm not going to get into that. So I'm going to end the show with, I'm going to do a video tomorrow on inflation. So I'm going to try to do a live video on Wednesdays. I will leave a phone number if anybody wants to call in. And I have to say this, if you're new to the show, please hit like, hit subscribe. If you're a follower, hit like, leave a comment. Get this algorithm to back up. I see my last video on Israel, my take on Israel. I finally got over 200 views again. I figured out how they shadow banned me, and I corrected that problem. So I'm just going to tune out. That was my little message on the fourth branch of government, which is the media and the fraud and the media lies. So I'm going to tune out, guys. And like I always do, and always say, God bless you, God bless America. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Peace out.